So before we begin, I'd like to briefly introduce and share the story behind Ask a Student. Founded by an international student, found his journey very overwhelming, and that's where we started Ask a Student with a simple belief. It's a very simple, plain idea. Students deserve honest guidance. That's exactly what we are doing today from people who have actually lived the journey. Too often students choose universities based on rankings or what they see online. Definitely you should do that research as well, but you need to talk to a real student before you choose anything, before you even spend a lot of money there. So what you get to know is that you get to know what is a student life really is, how expensive is that city is, how we spoke just some time back, what is the reality of Germany, what is a how is the situation of a market there, what is a course really worth it. So this is all that this is the most important part for you to know before you even choose any country. So that's where Ask a Student comes in. um, we connect aspiring students with current students, alumni across the world. It's not only Germany. Okay, if you want to study in UK, Ireland, India, Australia, you name the country, we get students for you to talk to a real student. So for students, so what's in for the student, why we want students to talk, so they get more clarity. So after this session you will come to know that you're more confident and you know about this country better, and then you can take smarter decisions based on what you want to do. Okay. Thank you so much to my to our student advisors. I would request one by one, each of you to unmute yourself. Sorry, you're already unmuted, and go ahead, introduce yourself, share your experience. The stage is all yours because this is the most important part for us. Yeah, and then all the participants, let me tell you, we will take all your questions as far as possible. If not, we have other solutions as well. Go ahead, one by one.
Can start.
Should I
Anushka,
start?
yeah, let's go alphabetically. So
Okay.
Anushka, Devin,
Okay.
and Sakshi.
Okay, cool. So, hi guys, my name's Anoushka, and I'm originally from Mumbai, and I came to Germany to do my master's in data science at the Constructor University, which is in Bremen, which is in north of Germany. And I've been here since 2021. And what can I say about so I originally chose this university because number one, it was taught in English. Because at that point, the courses that I wanted to do, a lot of them were not being taught in English. So this was one of the universities that was teaching in English. So I picked this one. Also, it has a really big campus. So it's in the north of the city. There is a huge campus where you can go and take classes and meet other students and be very involved in the community there. And with all of the professors, it's good for networking. So that would be my advice, is that if you do come to Germany, do not try to make everything, like if they give you option to do it online or something, don't do that. Try to be in person as much as possible so that you can build your network, because this is where you would make friends. I made some really, really good friends by being really involved in the community here, especially at the university. And I would say don't only stick to, for example, Indian people. That's one personal advice I can give you, is that it help you to learn about different cultures, different communities all over the world. Having Indian friends, of course, you feel a sense of comfort, especially since you're away from home and you may be homesick and stuff like that. But especially maybe making German friends itself, maybe that would help you be more integrated into the culture here so you can learn more things. Um, Going back to the actual, like the university, one thing I would say is that I did learn one level of German before I came here. So I did complete my A1 level before coming here. So I knew the basics of the language a little bit. So I was able to navigate a little bit easier over here, because in a city like Bremen, it's not as international as, say, a Hamburg or a Berlin would be. So you still need to know some basic German. to get around, maybe to order something or to go in the store, stuff like that. So my one advice would be to maybe learn a little bit before coming, and so that also you can help connect with people who live here as well. Um, Regarding the course I chose, I think data science at that point was really booming, and I felt like there would be more career opportunities for me once I did that course. So I picked that master, and I can say that I had a really good time at my university. With I was very engaging with my professors, so I'm still friends with them. With also, I'm still friends with all of the friends I made at a university. And sometimes it's so random because Bremen is such a small city that when I go to, like, for example, a bakery or a cafe or something or a restaurant, I ended up meeting someone I knew from the university because I was actually part of the student government. I got elected, and that's how I got to know all of this in new incoming students as well. So um and so I walked into a restaurant and suddenly I met someone who knew me by name because I was so engaged with all of the students at that point and giving them advice and helping them around, because navigating, for example, the administration here in Germany is very difficult. There's a lot of bureaucracy, there's a lot of red tape, and everything takes so much time because they literally send you like letters, physical letters, and you have to wait for that in your post before anything important can happen. Just to end it so that everyone has a chance, one important advice I would give you if you do plan to come to Germany is, as soon as you come here, you need to sort out your paperwork immediately, because your visa only lasts a few months and you need to immediately apply to get your ID card here and also to register your address, your accommodation or whatever. Because to get a bank account, you need to have an address, and you need to have an address so you can get your ID card so you can live in Germany legally after your visa expires. Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, Anushka. Just before Devin, if you all have any questions, please write it in the chat. We will make sure we take all your questions. Yeah, go ahead, Devin.
Yeah. So, guys, I don't mind if I'm looking this side. Actually, the screen is here, so I'm just looking this side. My name is Devesh Kannan, and I'm currently pursuing my master's in robotics and automation in a university called TU Dortmund. TU Dortmund is located in Dortmund, obviously, and Dortmund is in the state called North Rhine-Westphalia, which is towards the northwest, as you can understand by the name, in Germany, and I'm very much closer towards Netherlands, Belgium, and Luxembourg region. So that is where I study. And previously, I had done my bachelor's in mechanical engineering, and due to an 6 months internship with my company, I developed a keen interest in robotics, and I decided, okay, let's completely shift towards the robotic side. So any questions regarding the electrical field or mechanical engineering, which is, I think, predominantly that, you guys can let me know because I can help you out. And other than that, about my university is recently new compared to all other universities. The other universities are pretty old. But what I love about my university is that they instantly catch up to any new trend. So right now, I work with my university, and whenever they say something new pop up, it instantly becomes our next research or next project to work on. That has always been the case. And regarding my university, we have multiple English language courses as well. Um, TU Dortmund provides this course in English, hence I took this course. Most of the robotics courses are provided in English, but I think you could say TU Dortmund is one of those few universities which were actually providing it for zero student fees. You have Technical University of Munich and you also have Aachen. Both of them have these courses, but they cost around 6,000 euros per semester. So in comparison to that, I'm paying around 300 euros. So you could say that is a massive reduction. So that is one of the reasons I had actually taken this course. And the other good thing about my university is that it belongs in a chain of universities called the Rhine Road chain. Along with my university, I have Bochum, RUB Bochum, I have the University of Bonn, University of Cologne, and the University of Duisburg. All these universities are connected in a chain, which means I can take up any course from those universities, and they won't mind at all. That is one of the best parts of being in my university. And the other good thing is Dortmund is in NRW, which is North Rhine-Westphalia. This is a state with the highest amount of immigrants. So it's highly populated, it's dense, and you will feel like home here. Compared to all the other states in Germany, you will feel this state is like much more balanced and well stable, and pretty normal actually. Uh, that's pretty much it from my side. And if I had to give you one advice, do not be scared of the German weather once you're here. Just try to step outside and face it. You'll get used to it. That's it.
Thank you so much. We have some follow-up question, but we'll come to Sakshi. Sakshi, go ahead.
Okay, so hi, thank you for having me here. A little bit about my background. I am a Indian lawyer. I completed my graduation in India in 2020. Did my master's in law in constitutional and administrative laws. It was a year's program at Symbiosis Pune. And then the following year, I took actually a break wherein I prepared for judicial services and a couple of other exams, and which eventually made me realize that was not what I, let's say, wanted to do. I was not having fun doing that. And within a couple of months, the idea changed from giving judicial exams to pursuing something in academics. That was probably because of my last master's, wherein I think personally I performed really good in academics. And that is how somehow Germany came in the picture while researching, thinking that what I can do about the knowledge I want to have. I somehow knew what I wanted, but not the correct way, probably, which is why it took a little while for me to figure out how to go about things. But once the idea of Germany came in, it went kind of really smooth for me. I researched for universities. I wanted to do another master's because academic writing was something I think I personally did not learn in India. And I felt very, very sad about it because that's one area that I don't know why is so less explored and less taught. I was really mad at my university at a point, but leaving that behind, I learned a lot once I got my admission in my second master's here in legal theory, which was at Goethe University in Frankfurt, which is the Western campus. As Devesh said, the place where he lives becomes like your home, and that's exactly Frankfurt for me now, because I have been here for like this year I'll complete 4 years here, and it has been the first place I came to, and I would not want to move out. Seriously, leaving aside the hassle of shifting, I really don't want to move out of Frankfurt. And so my program was originally for 1 year here, English taught program, purely academic and theoretical, which is exactly what I wanted to learn. And I completed it after about actually a little more than 2 years because I started working immediately when I came here. I working as a waitress, started with odd jobs because I wanted to finance myself, and eventually I got a research assistant job at the Max Planck Institute in Heidelberg. So I worked in Heidelberg for about a year, and that was when I was pursuing my master's, and I was about to start writing my thesis. And as I realized that your relationship with your supervisors and your tutors at the university for me mattered a lot. But because of the fact that I was so much involved in work, I think I could really not connect a lot with the professors at my university, which was funny because I did not, which is why actually I could not easily find a supervisor for my master thesis. And which is when the idea just came up to me that let's ask my current supervisor, or let's say my mentor at the Max Planck Institute. And he agreed, and he became my supervisor, who was the director there. So it was a very, very funny story, but nonetheless, I completed my master's. And eventually, the idea of pursuing a PhD came up while working at the Max Planck, because I was surrounded by people who had knowledge beyond my current knowledge, and that made me feel very, very motivated that let's do something more. So looked for a PhD for a very, very long time. In fact, I resumed working as a waitress after my contract at the Max Planck stopped. And in the middle of everything, I got a job of a different job field, which was from intellectual property rights. That was a different field. But a couple of months in my job, I got a PhD offer also. And, uh, and I don't know, the brave part or the stupid part in me decided let's do both. So it has been a journey, and we definitely discuss more about it when it comes. But yeah, that's my journey in short. But one tip that I would give you, that let's say my first internship or my job, which were monumental moments for me here, I actually did not get them because I applied. It was all about networking. I did not apply for those jobs. And I realized that how important personal connections are here. And so I would just say, wherever you are, and if you see an opportunity, just sell yourself. That's all. And Germans do appreciate honesty. So when I told them during my interviews that I have no knowledge what you're talking about, it turned out to be, it actually favored me. So yeah, just be honest. And I think that works out.
Thank you so much. Just a minute. Thank you. I request all the participants to mute yourself. We will give you a chance to unmute when the Q&A round is going on. Thank you, Anushka, Devesh, and Sakshi. It was truly insightful. I think all the students would understand. I got a fair idea. So I have a follow-up question for Anushka first. So Anushka, I was going through your program. So your program is little unique, I feel. Data science for society and business. So how is this program different from regular MSc data science course?
So the thing with this course is it's actually interdisciplinary, the course. So it's, of course, it's data science, but it also incorporates a stream for business and for sociology. Basically, you can incorporate data science basics with business or with sociology or society, in the sense that the course has three different ways you can go through the course. So the first year, you basically build on all of the basics that are required for data science. And then after that, you can pick which stream you want to pick. So you can go for pure data science, which would include like using Python and R, different types of coding, all of the basics that are required for data science, and machine learning, and all of the things that are generally needed for a job as a data scientist. And then after that, you can also pick electives or minors in business courses or in sociology courses, which integrate the use of all of these things you've learned in data science with business. So, for example, business analytics, or impact of IoT, or impact of 4.0 in society and stuff like that. So it's a holistic look at the course. Is holistic in the sense that it doesn't just focus on one thing. You can pick and choose what you want to study, and I think the flexibility of it is really what drew me to the course. For me, I picked most of my courses were in the basics of data science, but I did pick one or two courses that I could use as an application of data science in the business field. Yes.
Thank you so much, Anushka. That was clear and crisp. I have one more question for you. This is little different. Has studying
Yeah.
in Germany changed you as a person?
100%, I can tell you that. As a person, I think I feel like I have really come into myself while living here, because since you're living alone, you have no support, you have no background, you don't know anyone. When you first come here, you have to do everything yourself, and you really learn about yourself in this process. And I think that I really realized who I really was as compared to India. Because in India, I felt like everyone, they picks your path for you, and everyone's like, oh, you need to do this and do this and do this. But here you have the freedom to do and think what you want, and you really realize what you truly want. And I felt like that's someone I can be now, you know.
Yeah. That's the thing. When you shift from your home country, you get more responsible. So, Devin, to you now. Germany is known for engineering excellence. Have you felt a difference in the learning environment in Germany?
Yeah, definitely. There is no doubt in that. But giving a ground truth perspective, if you're a master student, the professors will come, they will throw the lecture at your face. It is up to you to decide whether you're going to sit and study. Because in my course, more you're expected to already know the knowledge of everything. They straight up start with the math, they deliver you the math, and they deliver you the logic, and they tell you to come to the lab sessions. You have to attend those lab sessions. They are not mandatory. Nothing is mandatory, by the way. You can, in fact, not attend any of the classes. But this is for my university. We have zero attendance, okay? There is no attendance restriction. It is all up to you whether you want to go and whether you want to learn. So there is full freedom. But if you do not write the exam well, it's a huge problem because the exams here are pretty hard. Um, a good example is one of my professors. His motto is quite simple. I have a paper, it is for 30 points, and every point, it's not like, okay, a 5 mark answer, I have to write something long. No, it might be long, it might be short, but it is for 1 point. And if you do not write it correctly, it is minus zero point 0.5 points. So if you know the paper, you'll finish it in 20 minutes. If you do not know it, close and leave. That's it. That is how the most of the question papers in my university are. And yeah, you're given the knowledge. They provide you with everything. It's up to you whether you will come to learn or not. For example, your lecture is at 8 a.m. in the morning and it is around minus 13 degrees outside. You won't wake up, but you have to go. That's how it is. Yeah, I would
Straightforward.
say that is one of the main things. So they leave it up to you. You have the freedom, but they expect absolute perfection.
Yeah, you
That's
have
what
to
I
do
would
it.
say.
There is no way out.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
So, how was
exactly.
your exposure to real industries and companies when you were studying?
In what genre? Like you mean like in terms of studies or in terms of applying to jobs?
Applying to jobs.
Okay, so in terms of applying to jobs, I think the first semester I was completely concentrated on finishing all the mandatory subjects that our course had offered, so I didn't deal much with it. But the moment I started applying to jobs, one of the hard realities is that you won't find something common. Like if you're excellent at one thing, you won't get a job for that one thing. Meaning, okay, good, I know how to design stuff. It doesn't mean there is a job profile just for designing. No, these will include a lot of other skills that you have to know, that you have to expect. A lot of recruiters like to have your face in your resume. This is a thing, especially small companies and universities. I have spoken with the person himself. He was hiring and he told me, dude, why are most of your Indian friends not putting their face? Like, I want to see how he looks like. I want to, I want to know what he is doing. There is no face, nothing. And during the interview, how will I know if it's him? So, like, I personally I was like, okay, fine. This is something new that I'm coming to know. I had no idea about this. So that is one thing. And the other thing is that you have to connect with a lot of people. In LinkedIn, just spam your connection button to everyone, connect with many people. That is, I think, one of the best ways you can get into the industry by yourselves. I would say it took me about 6 months to finally get the perfect resume template so that, most of the companies will actually, try and, pick me for an interview. So yeah, it's up to you on how you do it. A good example is I transitioned from a mechanical engineer to a robotics engineer, right? So I thought, okay, maybe if I apply for mechanical jobs, I might get it. But there were absolutely, most of them were rejected. But then I put out a little bit saying, okay, look, I can do a little bit into the robotics as well now that I have some knowledge. And then slowly I found out, okay, there are some positions available as a mechanical engineer in robotics companies. So then I started applying there and then I started hearing back. So as you are applying, you will receive feedback and then you will understand what to do. So that's how the industry here is. It's pretty much like that. And if I have to give a very good advice, no matter if you're in bachelor's, just get some work experience. Like 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, just get some work experience in your hand because that's the only way. Most of the time, they do not look at your grade. They look at your confidence. They look at what you do is good or not, and that's pretty much it.
Thanks, Devish. I think what you mentioned about networking, I think we all agree
Yeah,
to that. We are in the same
yeah.
page. And about last part that you were mentioning about work experience. So you were saying about work experience back in India, right? That will help you.
S- Some I just had 6 months of experience, but most of the questions were asked for that work experience only. Like I have, being very transparent, my grades here in my university are not that great in my masters, but I was till this date not questioned about my grades till now. Nothing regarding my transcripts was questioned. It was all about what did I do, what were
Skills.
my projects. That's it. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Deven. Sakshi, over to you. So, many students in Germany, they usually go for engineering or STEM course. Now, I'm not giving a conclusion here, but usually it's like that. What what made you go for this for law and policy in Germany? Like, I just want your insights there.
Yeah, my
If or I
personal.
can say, the students
Mhm.
who are interested, how can they prepare? That way, I can say, yeah.
Okay, so I had to convince and answer this exact same question to my parents also.
Okay.
So it was a very I don't know, unconventional choice probably that I made. I think so. So when I started researching, my first idea was to look for a country that probably spends a lot on research and development. I did not care for the area, but I cared for the idea that if they spend money on people actually writing stuff and researching and excelling in those areas. So Germany was on the top, one of the topmost for that. And then I took my research at a little deeper level, but I still could not find anything about law on social media, which made my research my family even more difficult. But then I just realized one thing, that at least I can read on university websites. They will tell me the truth. So that's where I started. I started only reading about university programs and what they offer and when they offer. Of course, they were very less. I felt that. I really felt that. But it did. Germany did have courses that I somehow wanted to do. They were very much parallel to what I wanted. So I was pretty late while applying to Germany in general, but I somehow secured admission in about 4 or 5 universities, and I was really glad that I got to choose Frankfurt. This specific course in legal theory is actually the subject that I hated the most during my bachelor's. And I kind of took all my chances and gave a shot to a course and a subject that I kind of did not like during my bachelor's, but I knew that I have to study it. I don't have a way out. And that is how somehow Germany came into the whole picture. And the only difficult part was actually convincing my parents, not and it was not the fact that, let's say, I was not capable or something like that, because I felt that in me a little during my previous master. So I knew that I have a little edge, which means that getting an admission should not be that difficult. But the surprising part was actually learning that we have to pay fees, because Germany has always been sold as a country where you can get education for free. So that was the first myth that broke for me, that specialized courses are not free. You might go for engineering, etc., and you just have to pay that semester ticket and semester fee. But on the top of that, for courses, let's say LLMs, you have to pay a full-fledged fee, even though it was not, I mean, it was about, I think, 7,500 euros something. And I had to not only convince my parents to let me go, but to help me for that too. And it was a very difficult choice, I think I made, but somehow I think Germany stood up at level. At least I could now say that I convinced myself well, and my parents, that they let me come here, and I, of course, I let me make that decision. And I do have, I might have had weird experiences, but I have no complaints, I would say.
Thank you so much, Sakshi. I like the last sentence. I have no complaints. Really great, very positive. Um, one more question to you. So, because you are doing PhD, you are planning to do PhD. Uh, I what I know about PhD is that you have to connect with the professors, right? So, what do you think is a way if a student want to do? What do you think is a? Do you have any tips for that to reach out to professors or something along those lines? Because we had a lot of PhD questions, as I had mentioned to you earlier.
So my PhD journey, as I mentioned, start like this thought process at least started for me when I was working at the Max Planck. I was in Heidelberg. I was already connected to a lot of people there. So I mean, none of them are my supervisors currently, but my inspiration was the work experience that I got here. And eventually I had to see my way out. So I did have professors that I was already in touch with who kind of worked in the same area, but funding was a huge problem actually at that point. So most of the PhD positions here are funded. So there's a good chance that you will be given some money, maybe not up to the market standards or whatsoever, but there's a good chance that it'll be funded. So if there is no funding, they might not be, the professor might not be able to take you even if he's interested. So that slowed down my process a bit, because the professors who were working in my fields did not have funding at that point from their universities, and I did not really want to wait for a long time. But still, my application process, I think I tried for more than 1 year, actually, until I started a PhD, since I had a thought of it. And I would say approaching professors could be good only if you have some history with them. That is only when I think they might respond. It's very, I don't know. The thing is, I've had really, let's say, weird or a little some sad experiences with my professors during my masters. So it was very difficult to get responses from them, and that was a huge problem for me. Which is why probably that's because of my background. Let's say because I come from India, and we have professors right on our heads all the time, so we know what to do, how to do. But here they just leave you, and that's such a huge problem. I learned during my masters. They just say, do it yourself. This is your topic, you decide your topic, find your own path and just do it. And spoon feeding is not practiced here at all, and I really wanted to be spoon fed when I came here. So it's all about how I think you approach things. I when I learned, when I got a job in the middle of finding a PhD, that's when I thought that maybe I can let it be for a while. But I was still in touch with a lot of professors on LinkedIn, actually. That's where I got one of my first offers, actually. He did not have funding initially, but he approached me later on saying that I have funding. Are you interested now? But unfortunately, I had already got an offer from the University of Hamburg. So I accepted that, and it was a structured program. So I think it made more sense to me. In this case, I did not have any professors I knew. because I just applied directly to the university because I had been trying to talk to professors personally for a very, very long time. And it could be a good or bad thing, but I only wanted to do a PhD if I get to work on the topic I want to. I was very adamant about it, which is why probably I was not able to find people for so long. And once this university, they accepted my proposal, we had a set of interviews and everything. It went down very smooth after that. So I have, so my program is a structured program. So it's properly, you have classes, you have semesters and everything. And the way, the point that you were talking about, that how do you approach professors and everything, it's mostly via the unstructured, it's mostly the unstructured form of PhD, which is, I think, good in its own ways because you have more freedom and everything. But I think a structured program for somebody coming from India probably made more sense. I am kind of, I know this happens when and what happens next. At least I know what to do in a line. So, yeah.
Thank you so much to each one of you. I think it was very, very insightful. I think I have learned a lot, and I'm sure you all have learned. So let's go to the Q&A round because all are waiting anxiously, and I can see a lot of questions in the chat room. So Nitishka, she has asked, how much does GPA matter while applying to universities? What are the language barriers? How does the monthly expense look like, and what is work life like? I think some of the questions you have answered. You can pick up, one of you can answer in general, or yeah, go ahead, Devish.
So you asked GPA, right? Let me
Yeah.
bring it out for you. My university requires a GPA which is below 2.0. Here, the GPA is calculated backwards. It goes from 4 to 1, 4 being the worst and 1 being the best. And your GPA should be less than 2.0, which I think according to Indian grades is greater than 8.6. So my university, universities like Aachen, RWTH Aachen, universities like TUM, universities like Hamburg, all the big city universities, some universities that have international reach, they will require a higher GPA. And this is not completely university based. This is very important. This is course based. So my course requires you to have a higher GPA. Second thing, these courses require you to make sure that you need to do particular courses in your bachelor's as well. For example, I'm a mechanical engineer. How did I get into robotics? Because I did a few courses related to Python. I did a few courses related to electrical engineering. That is one of the main reasons. I am the only mechanical engineer in my entire mechatronics batch of masters. So you could say that plays a major criteria. So please, once you're researching your universities, do look into what kind of courses they want you to do, and please highlight them obviously. And I think that is one of the two key points I would like to mention, the fact that GPA does matter for some universities, and the courses that you do in your bachelor's also matters.
Thank you, Devish. I have one follow-up question for you. So you mentioned about the GPA part. So GPA
Mhm.
part is mentioned in the universities when you apply, if I'm not wrong. Every university mentioned
In
that this
my
is
course it is mentioned.
it is mentioned.
If you go to the website, you
Yeah,
open type automation and master, it is written that a bachelor's degree of less than 2.0 is needed.
yeah. So doing a thorough
Yeah,
research
Which
is
was not
important.
in my
yeah.
case.
I'm in close
Yeah,
connection with a friend of mine in my university who screens the candidates, by the way. So in automation robotics. So he has told me, like, you were the only dude who did some courses related to this engineering. So that's why you were chosen, or else there's no way we're getting a mechanical engineer into the field of robotics.
so
Yeah,
matching your
that is,
previous course is very important. That's another
yes, it is
takeaway.
very important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there is something called, someone has asked the same question, the same student has asked, what are the language barriers? I think there is English taught and German taught. One of you, either Anushka and Sakshi, can take this question.
I mean, for my
Um,
sake, my entire program is English taught, but there are a lot of courses that are taught in German as well. So my course belongs in the chair of electrical engineering and informatics. This chair has a lot of English courses and German courses, and there will be like 1,000 German courses that you'll be definitely interested in. I'm interested in like a lot of them. So it is important that you at least learn up to some language so that at least you can request your professor that, hey, can you give the paper at least in English so that I can understand your course and write the exam in English, and that is doable. In my case, it is doable. And one of the main things is do learn language up to A2. It's because many Germans, prefer when you also speak with them in German. That has always been the case. Germans usually don't talk to you unless you open up and talk to them. That is how it always has been in my case. Yeah. So my course does not have any language barriers, but please
Yeah.
learn and come.
I think it's mentioned in the university. Anushka, go ahead. Yeah. University page, I
So,
think.
sorry. I would say for my case, actually, my university is like the number one international university here, especially in North Germany. And so since it's an international university, there is no technical language barrier, I would say, because everything's in English, because you will meet students from over 130 countries over here in my university. So it's extremely diverse, which I think is a really big plus. But you have to take like German classes at the university. At least first year it's compulsory to learn the language, because like I mentioned before, you have to integrate into the life if you want to live here, not just attend university. So there is a little bit of a language barrier in the sense of living, maybe. And some courses, I don't know about other universities, but when I did my research, the courses that are in English, German, or in bilingual means they say they teach in German and in English, but actually it's mostly just German. So if you end up looking at something like that, you may have to make sure that your German level is really good. Otherwise, they don't really admit you into these courses.
Thank you so much. The next question is from Kanishka. What do you do to make your profile best for your university? Sakshi, do you want to answer this?
Um, yeah, sure. So my case was an academic. What I tried the most was to get some publications. That was one of my. I just had some, maybe one, two publications before you apply. That could be the first thing. Second was to get really good letter. So having recommendation letters from people who I worked with back in India as an intern or as a paralegal or something like that, and from the directors of my universities. I wanted to get directors, and then let's say a good tip that I could give you here is that let's say you want to specialize in law being my field, so I'll talk about that. Let's say you want to go into theoretical areas, or your focus is constitutional laws or international laws or something like that. I would say having a recommendation letter from the professor who taught you that course would be like hitting the jackpot, because it would really help you. I'm pretty sure that would be a great thing to have if you can. And sorry, so your question was about how can we make our
Make your
application
profile.
better,
Yeah, but she
profile.
also has mentioned that it's not only academic, but other
Hmm.
things. So she was asking in general, like not
Yeah,
only academic, but
yeah. I would say I had a lot of social service also. I was involved a lot in sports. I come from a very sporty background. My dad put me in a lot of sports. I go black. I used to play table tennis on national levels, and actually those were a couple of points that were put up during interviews also, while PhD interviews, while some master's interviews also, and maybe those were maybe the highlights of my profile, that they found it very interesting that I have interests except for studies also. So I did a couple of courses also, some academic, actually, of course, some writing courses I did to support my application. And I talked about letters of recommendations, and well, yeah, I think that's all I did, I think. Yeah.
thank you so much. I think the answer was fair enough. Good. Next question is from so someone asked about language barrier. So I would answer that question is that please check the university what they're asking. What is the language requirement? I think you all can correct me if I'm wrong. Somebody asked about monthly expense. We can take that question later on because it depends on the city that you are. So we can take that question later. So next question is from Ananya Agarwal. What made you apply to a university in Germany and what makes studying there different from other countries? I think you had answered this question in the start when you gave your bio. So do you want to add something here? Very, very crisp.
Like, uh, are you talking to me?
Any one of you can go ahead. Yeah,
I mean,
Anushka, go ahead.
I can answer this. Okay. Yeah, maybe I felt like I didn't answer that properly in my bio. Maybe I can say it now. But for me, I mean, I did want to do my master's abroad. The question, of course, came to which country, and then I was like, okay, UK is an option because there is no language barrier there. Everything's in English, but the courses is only for 1 year, and out of the 1 year, they only teach you for 9 months, and then you have like 2-3 months to do your thesis. So I felt like it wasn't enough time to go deep into the course and actually really learn something. And then for the US was an option, but it was extremely expensive. And I felt like it was not really worth it. And especially with all of the things going on currently in the US, I feel like maybe it's not a good option for an Indian. Plus, getting the visa after that is really hectic because of the lottery system and whatnot. Germany came up to me in the sense that it was becoming the number one attraction for especially for Indian students to study abroad because it didn't have as many entry barriers compared to other countries. Plus, you have easy access to the whole of EU if you are in Germany, so you can travel anywhere, you can work anywhere. Also, they offer you an 18-month job seeking visa after you graduate, which really helps you stay in Germany and you can really look for a job in that 18 months. So there are a lot of ways that Germany really helps in this aspect as compared to other countries, and that's why I picked Germany.
Thank you so much, Anushka. So next question
Yeah.
is, yeah, Devesh, sorry, go
So
ahead.
in my case, I would say I mean, I think most of the students here also, it's mainly due to me being in mechanical engineering. Because for the work we do, I think mechanical engineers are recognized more here in this country comparatively. So this is one of the main reasons I would say like I'm so happy that here the way mechanical engineers are like treated is to another level. The respect that is given here is to another level. It is something that I have not seen in a while. They look for a lot of professionalism, but it's nice to see that okay, there is scope for this field, and there is such a huge scope for this field right here in this country. That is one of the main reasons I decided to pursue my master's in Germany, I would say.
Thanks, David. There is another question on requirements to apply undergraduate program. I think it's very straight. Like you need to have a academic ready, like APS certificate ready, and if Germany requires 13 years of education, if not, you have to go through student colleague route, and language proficiency is required. Blocked account is required. So I think if you want to add anything else, one of you can go ahead because it is
Yeah,
about
I would just
undergrad.
like to add, I think yesterday or maybe day before yesterday, the government has changed the rules
70%.
for international students who are coming for undergrad here. So I think it's like the 70% rule
Yes.
now. Yeah, I think that's the
Yeah,
one
yeah.
thing to keep in
Yeah, for
mind.
APS, it was not. Now there, and it's only for bachelors, not for masters.
Yeah, it's only for bachelor's.
Yeah,
Yes.
thank you so much. So next is from Arnav. I am a BTech student, computer science. How do you decide whether to do masters in Germany? In general, people do MS for getting better job opportunities or for research. Universities in Germany known for which one? To go, just a minute, I'm not able to see that. To go further into research or better job opportunities. Arnav, do you want to unmute yourself and ask this question? What should be the preparation to apply to get? So I think we had discussed this point, preparation part. Um, so his question is, how do you decide whether you want to do masters in Germany or not? In general, people do MS for getting better job opportunities or for research. Universities in Germany are known for which one? To go further into research or for better job? So he's asking, I go to Germany for research or for job opportunities? That's his question. That's what I understand. Arnam, please, you can unmute if I am not. clear here. Yeah, I think that's what he's planning to ask.
Okay, I think Germany is known for both, actually. They're very keen on having research, and they have a lot of institutes that are backed by governments and by other universities that promote research specifically. But also, like I mentioned, they give you time to look for a job, and people generally come to Germany for job opportunities because now Germany also has the opportunity card option where you can come for a year without a job and look for a job here in Germany. But that's slightly harder to do here. I would say coming for a master's is an easy way into the country, easier way into the country rather than looking directly for a job. And it helps you build a base here in Germany if you do your education here. It's a big plus when you look for jobs, when they see that you have actually studied in Germany rather than just come here for a job. So I would say that's a plus.
Yeah, so that was
Adding to
clear.
that,
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, adding to that, I would say if you're like you're saying whether you cannot decide on whether you want to do masters or whether you want to do job, I would say if you're going to do masters and then you have the complete mindset that okay, I need a job, I need a job, I need a job, that does not work. Come with the motive to study first because you learn a lot of new things. You will definitely elevate, especially in terms of your profile and in terms of your studies. And as you're studying, you will come to know, okay, I'm ready to apply for a job now. I will get a job now. So it's completely up to you. Many universities here, are very professional. You if you want, you can move completely towards the research field. There are a lot of research institutes who offer job opportunities. And if you want to go into the professional field as well, you can dive into it. So I think the main thing is that if you're coming here in terms of doing masters, the main focus of yours should be to study first, is what I would say. So have in mind there first, yes.
Thanks, Devesh. So there is another question about applying to universities, which we have already answered, but I will take one question from there, and uh, we will take it more 15 minutes. We'll extend to more 15 minutes, and then we'll stop because it's already 5. So any tips on shortlisting of application of universities or building a strong profile or any mistakes you want to avoid? Devyansh Mishra has asked this. Any tips on application, like shortlisting of universities? Any specific tips you have?
I would say for me, what really worked was actually going over the course structure and seeing if the classes that the course is offering you is something you actually really want to study or something you're really interested in. Or maybe if the university is flexible in the sense where you can learn different things simultaneously and see what really interests you. I think that's something that's really important, is because you I don't think you should just come here for the sake of coming. You should really be interested in what you're learning and what you can actually get out of the university and out of everything that you're doing, your networking, your professors and everything. And in terms of shortlisting universities, I would say that would be one option, one thing to know. And then also, of course, everyone thinks about the cost aspect, whether the university is public or private, and also the language option for the course and whether you match the prerequisites of the course or not. Because some courses, like Devesh mentioned, have requirements where you need to have some courses that you've already studied. So that's something I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
My advice is don't look into the ranks of the universities in Germany. Please don't. Go into the university's website, see what they're offering. They upload everything from labs to what they do, what is their research, what is their scope. Location of a university also matters. In my case, I didn't know that. I knew, okay, they had good robotics fields and robotics labs, so I can just take part. But once I went there, I came to know that it is located in a very good place, connected with a lot of cities. Especially, it is connected to Bochum, which is like the hub of German startup right now, currently after Munich. So that those are the new things that I came to know, and yeah, it's just important that please look into what the university has to offer to you, rather than going into the ranks of the university. A
Yeah.
good example I would say is I think most of you might have heard of RWTH Aachen and Technical University of Munich. Both are in the top universities in Germany, but I'm in TU Dortmund. I somehow now figured out a way to complete my master thesis in RWTH Aachen rather than in my own university. So that's how it works. You can do your final bachelor thesis or master thesis in a different university as well. So in one way or the other, it's not the university rank that matters. So that's what I'm trying to say.
Thanks. I think the takeaway is to check the university and follow your interest. That's the main I understand here. I would take another question, which is something which everyone want to know is about scholarships and funding options.
I would
Sakshi?
like to mention, sorry, just before you
Yeah, yeah.
say, the Germany has this thing called DAAD, DAAD, and they offer scholarships for students coming to Germany. I would say really check out that and see what applies to you. I think they have a lot of options for women in STEM. So maybe that would be an option, but also look at your specific university that you're applying to. Do they have specific scholarships that they offer? So for me, for example, um, my university was a private university, but they also did merit-based scholarships. So, for example, a 2 years master's course would cost 20,000 euros, but based on your merit and the way you set up your profile, they can give you a merit-based scholarship. So, I ended up paying only 9,000 euros because I had a merit-based scholarship and how I presented my profile to them. And then it's like that, and you have to look at different look at the government websites of Germany that, or like the embassy websites of Germany and India that have specific scholarships for these specific courses or types of niche, basically I would say niche subjects.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, Sakshi.
that was the same in my case. I did not apply for external scholarships for my master's. In fact, because of the fact that I knew that my university has a scholarship in itself, and I just had to send out a separate application for that during my application process. And because of my academic record, as far as I remember, my semester fees was, oh, sorry, my course fee was 7,200 euros, and I paid about 5,000 euros for 1 year, and my university offered me this amount of scholarship, like a partial scholarship for my course, which worked out good enough because, and also the universities are exceptionally accommodating. In my case, at least, that happened for where I come from. The Goethe University has multiple campuses in Frankfurt, and um, so I requested my university if I can on my own, and not all at the same time, but let's say in installments. And this took like about a month, but they agreed to it and agreed to me paying, let's say, about 500 euros a month. And since I was working there as a waitress, I kind of saved up my money from my blocked account and my waitressing and paid my university fee like that, which did not put any pressure on my parents back in India. And I did not really have to exhaust all my savings to do that. So scholarships are a good idea here. But if your university provides them, that might be the easiest way for you to apply, because it is a different application process if you do it separately. It might be even more difficult than getting a university, because there are a lot of master's students coming here. And of course, why would not anyone like a scholarship? But to have that, you might have to make videos, you might have to show a lot of documents, you might have exams for that. I know there are many scholarships on that, but I would say that is a very good idea to look at. For my PhD, I was offered scholarship inherently because I was admitted to the program, because the university in Hamburg, they admit about 5 or 6 students in a year in that specific course. And but I chose not to take a scholarship because I am working parallelly, that too full time. So either I can take the scholarship or work full time and get my full time salary. So I chose to get a salary because obviously it was way more higher than what the scholarship was offering me, and also I can, let's say, explore both the fields at the same time.
Thank you so much, Sakshi and Anushka. So we
I
have a
would
question.
actually add to that one thing. So this is, I think this is most of the cases for private universities, but when it comes to a public university, the chances of getting a scholarship reduces to 5 to 10% because the fact that already your education is kind of free. I know you still look for scholarships, especially to handle the living expenses. Um, there is one scholarship that is offered. It's called the Deutschland Stipendium. I think many of you might have heard of that. This scholarship tries to provide you living expenses up to 300 to 350 euros per month. This is especially mainly for the universities which are public. Other than that, there are some restrictions as well. Is that if you're in a public university and you're working part time, you won't be allowed for the scholarships as well. So many of the chairs in the universities, they do not allow you to work simultaneously and also have a scholarship going on. So that is the case as well. So in terms of public universities, your chances of getting a scholarship are way less comparatively. But if you get a scholarship, it will most likely be to fund your living expenses. Scholarships like Deutschland Stipendium, as I said, will provide you up to 300 euros or 200 euros per month. Another way of getting a scholarship in my university is that our university has clubs for every chair. And if you become a head or a part of the club of the main team, they at the end of the year they offer you some money because you have done some work for the university. That is pretty much it from the side of public universities and getting scholarships.
Thank you, Devesh. We are running short of time, but don't worry, we have a WhatsApp group where we can continue a conversation. And I will be sharing that link. You all can join that group. Uh, did you all get the link or did it? Just a minute. I've shared it in the chat. Is it visible?
Yeah, we can see it. Thank you.
Okay. Sorry. So because we are running short of time, we will pick up some few questions which is about finance part because many students have had how you manage to finance each city. I think Anushka is in Bremen, Sakshi is in Frankfurt, and Devesh is in Dortmund. So you all can describe your experience one by one.
Okay, I can start. So Bremen, like I mentioned, is not a very big city. But it's actually it's a student hub over here because Bremen has 4 universities. Um, and the number one course over here is aerospace engineering and marine biology and marine technology here in Bremen. The city is full of students, so people come here because it's a small city and it's not as expensive as say a Hamburg or a Berlin or a Munich. As you keep going south of Germany, things get even more and more expensive as compared to north of Germany. But nevertheless, you still need to have the funds to live here. How I managed was first I got an internship while I was studying. Then I became the student advisor, a student teacher, assistant for my professor for a few months. Then after that, after I graduated, as I was looking for jobs to finance myself, I worked at DHL, which is the letter for letters, basically the post here. Then I worked as a bartender, I worked as a waitress, I worked as in service at different restaurants. So I have a lot of experience working like that for a year, so I could finance myself and live here while looking for a job. In Bremen, I would say finding an accommodation is slightly harder because there are more people and less houses. So finding some accommodation may take a little bit longer, especially for international people. Approximately to normally survive here in Bremen, you need at least 600 to 700 euros pay rent and to live basic groceries and stuff like that, I would say.
Thanks, Anushka. Devesh and Sakshi, one by one.
So I live in Dortmund. Dortmund is a part of a huge chain of cities, especially in North Rhine-Westphalia. You have Dortmund, Bochum, Essen, Düsseldorf, Cologne. All of them are connected, and so if all these cities are connected, it's pretty evident that this area is a little expensive comparative to Bremen or any other areas. So, in terms of managing my rent, and by the way, health insurance is supposed to be paid by every student. That's up to 140 euros per month. And then you have rent. In my case, my rent is around 400 euros per month. If you get a student dorm, especially in Dortmund, it's very difficult to get a student dorm because it's always full. Uh, your rent would be around 350 euros. But I don't live in a student dorm. I live in an apartment with my friends. My rent is around 400 euros. Uh, your blocked account should be sufficient to manage your finances, especially even your groceries as well. And yeah, your blocked account for the first year also ensures that you're not just eating, you can have a slight bit of fun. It's not too much fun, but slight bit of fun. But after that, once it comes to financing yourself, it is important that you do some kind of a part-time job. I would say I think for the first 7 months I was not able to secure a job, but then after 7 months I got a job in Decathlon where I worked as a warehouse helper for 3.5 months. And after that, I worked in Lidrotech, which is a startup in Bochum. I worked there for around 6 months. And after that, 2 months later, I finally got a job offer to work as a student assistant in my own university in the chair of communication networks. So there I deal with robotics and mechanical hardware, and I've been working there ever since, and I'll be working there until my thesis gets completed. So if you get up to 15 hours of work, a student is allowed to only work 20 hours per week in Germany. If you get around 15 to 16 hours of work in Dortmund, in an hour way, you can survive with that amount of money. It is doable. But if you go slowly towards the south of Germany, like Munich, or if you go to places like Hamburg or Berlin, and you're trying to live within the city, that is impossible. The rents are very high there. The rents go up to 600 to 800 euros just for a single room or to share the room. So that is mostly the case. So I would say you can start by looking, jobs within your own university. That is the best option because you get flexibility to study as well as, the supervisors understand that you're working in university, so they give you free time to study for exams as well compared to part time. And that way you can, manage your finances and you can also focus on your studies. You do not have to worry that much.
Yeah, just a minute. All those who have entered the group, please wait for some time. Our admins will add you soon. Just give us some time. Thank you. Sakshi.
Yeah, so Frankfurt was a deliberate choice, even though I kind of knew that it is an expensive city to live in. And I, so when I got my admission and everything, I got it from Salden. There was one in Berlin, one in Frankfurt, and there was another city I don't remember. And out of all those, I realized that Frankfurt, being more central, international, I knew that language barrier is something that is that might be a problem while I was deciding, because I did study German up till just one level, and I knew that language could be a problem, so I chose Frankfurt. And as soon as I came here, I knew that I will have to work, let's say, as a waitress or any sort of odd jobs. It did not matter because I decided to pay my fee on my own and live on the one year amount of blocked account. So I started working as a waitress immediately. I started working part time. Let's say I came here on December 15th December, I think, 2022. I started working by the 1st of Jan. And I started working as a waitress. And in about 5, 6 months, I was constantly applying in my field also. And I got a job as a student assistant in Max Planck, which was a mini job. Let's say in terms of hours, it was a mini job, which means you actually don't have to work a lot. It's barely 10, 12 hours in a week. And so I used to visit Heidelberg on and off in a week, let's say once or twice a week for that. And it paid really good because it was in my field. And I was not expecting that kind of money from a mini job, obviously, because I just work, let's say, about 40 hours in a month. But the fact that I had mini job, I knew that I still can earn a little more because I'm not working part time, so I can take another mini job, which I did, and I continued working at my at this bar. And it was actually a bar owned by an Indian serving Indian food with German beer. So amazing experience. So do work. I got a couple of interviews in really good companies because of working as a waitress. So it was really fun because it was in a central place and many people who spoke English came there. So I got huge tips, and tips were a huge part of my working because when you work at a bar, people tip there. And there were days when I used to get, let's say, 60 euros of a tip in one evening. So that was amazing. That was actually the best way to support myself, I would say. And once I got a job in my field, I started working a little less at the bar. Still continued, but still I continued working there. So two mini jobs. And after a while, my contract ended at the Max Planck in a year. So I converted my part-time, my mini job into a full-time job, like into a part-time to a different restaurant. And I think I've worked at three different places as a waitress or as a barkeeper or whatsoever. And I could actually earn more in each job because I gained experience in a completely different field I had no idea about. So the good thing is always make sure that you say that you want more money in your next job, even if it's a euro for an hour, that doesn't matter because at least you get your minimum wage here, and which was never a problem. So managing my expenses, even with a basic part-time job in Frankfurt, was actually possible for me. You need, I would say, about 800 euros, 900 euros, tops 1,000 euros, and I think that should be more than enough for you to live in Frankfurt. I don't live exactly in the Hauptbahnhof main station area. I live, let's say, 20 minutes away from that. But it's perfect for me because I'm directly connected. That's never a problem. And I left my, let's say, I stopped working as at a restaurant, at that last restaurant, when I got my job offer. And so I stopped working, let's say, there at last year, 14th of April. 15th of April, I joined my other job. So technically, I never left working, even though I was studying all the time with it. No, I don't think I really took, I did take a lot of vacation. Make sure if you come here, use your semester ticket. In fact, exploit it if you can. I did that. I visited too many places in the first 2 years. So use the Deutschland ticket, prefer not to buy ICE tickets. I did that. I mean, now I do buy them to save time, but managing finances, it was difficult, extremely difficult coming from so much work experience. Sometimes you feel that it's because I think we are built up in a way that we feel that these jobs are beneath us. But that is not at all right. You are treated as humans here. And I think that is what inspired me to keep on working as a waitress because it made me feel more connected. I learned more German. I made friends who were not at all in my field, but still great people. So, yeah, managing finances was okay. It was working hard, but I got a lot out of it.
Thank you so much. I think Sakshi, it was very inspiring, very overwhelming to hear as well. Thank you to each one of you, Anushka, Devesh, and Sakshi. I will now stop and I will give it to Gaurav. He's the most senior most member of Ask a Student. Gaurav, over to you now.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Annie. Sakshi, Devesh, Anushka, a lot of inspiring insights, inspiring stories, insights, and that's why we organize these sessions. Thank you so much for taking time out. I know we are a little over, we're almost 1.5 times what we booked it for you. It's Saturday, we understand that, but thank you so much to participants as well who have been patiently waiting to hear those stories. We hope that it were useful for you. So what happens next is you will receive an email from us, which will contain all the information that we discussed today. It will have a recording as well. That will be the second email. But we have two sessions coming up. They are with Expatrio. Expatrio as a speaker. They will talk. They will be talking about in more details about application process, APS. There are some questions about APS which are outstanding. You will receive an email from us, and you can join that session and ask your questions in more details. Then the third session is about how you manage finances and how do you blocked account. All those questions will also be answered. There are some questions about finances, so we'll discuss them in more details in the next two sessions. We you have also received an link to our WhatsApp group. Please feel free to ask questions there. We have future students who are in the same boat as you are, so we can continue that discussion there. All our student advisors, including three here, are available on our chat forum. You will receive a link to that chat forum as well. All the current students are there. All the questions that were unanswered here, feel free to just copy paste that in the group. Sakshi, Dhevesh, and Anoushka will be happy to take those questions there as well. So one last question I have to all of you advisors. To sum up, if we have to rate your experience on the scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, how would you rate? Devesh, can we start with you?
7.5 out of 10 would be the right,
Okay.
because I had two amazing years and 1 year where there was a bit of a setback. But that's something every student goes through. But once you find out what you're exactly doing and what you want to do in the future, there is a clear pathway. That's all I would say. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Devesh. Sakshi?
I might be overestimating, maybe, but I could 9 because it was for me, it was life changing experience. I learned so much, and I gave a really good score for that because I felt I was extremely incapable until I came here. I could not cook, I couldn't do a thing, but it taught me too much in too little time.
Okay.
And say it was worth the effort. I'm tired all the time, except for that. I'm tired almost all the time. It makes me feel really happy that I got to be here. So I would give it a 9, I would say.
9. Wow. Okay. Anushka?
I mean, I don't want to overestimate or underestimate, but for me, the experience has been somewhat of a 7.2 maybe. Only because I've been here for so many years actually already, and the beginning was great for me. The first 2 years, I would rate that as an 8, 8.5. But of course, when reality hits after that, and there are a lot of challenges living in Germany. So to be completely honest, um, yeah, challenges kind of pushed it down to a
Yeah.
7.5. Yes.
Yeah. No, anything above for any international study destination, anything above 6 is worth considering for students. They should look into it. There are times ups and downs. We all go through it. Even in your home country, it goes through up and down. So, but overall, it's a great rating. It's a high rating for Germany. So all those students who are here, you can use that rating while making decisions. So thank you so much all, and we will send you a thank you email with all the information as the next steps. Thank you so much. Have a good weekend.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much. Have a great
Thank
weekend.
you.
Ciao.
Thank you.
Okay. Ciao.
Bye.